3D printing is a technology that lets you take a digital file and turn it into a physical product.
Almost anything you can imagine, people are creating. I think it's going to open up whole new opportunities in areas of mass customization.
Unlike with music or movies, with a 3D printer, a lot of things that are printed aren't protected by copyright.
One of the really cool things about 3D printing is it really changes the dynamic of a consumer culture. It turns you from being a passive consumer to an active creator.
3D printing is this amazing new technology where you can take a 3D digital file and with the click of a button use that file to create an actual physical 3D part. So how does a 3D printer work? The first step is to get a 3D file, and you can get your 3D file in one of two ways. One, you can simply download the file from the internet. The second way is you can design your own 3D part. The software is going to slice your part up into layers. By building a part layer by layer, you're able to create a plastic part in 3 dimensions, and the possibilities are limited only by your imagination. People will create their next big invention, or engineers and designers create small production runs or little prototypes. Teachers can use it to print out teaching aids. If a teacher is doing a little lesson on a ship, they can actually print out a sailing ship and pass it around the class. And people print out things for around the house. iPhone cases are pretty big. You break a towel hook, you can print out a new one. We want to make 3D printers at a price that the average person can afford and also easy to use. We're already seeing late stage early adoption of 3D printing, but for me the exciting thing is what's to come.
Anyone in the world can upload their 3D model and we'll print it for you. And then also, if you decide you want to make it for sale, you can sell it and we'll produce it on demand for that customer wherever they are in the world. You can essentially bring a product to market with no risk. You don't have inventory anymore. You don't have to make sure that there's a market ready for your product. If you sell one, that's awesome. If you sell 10,000, then all of a sudden you have a passive income model, and that radically changes the economy. Usually to bring a product to market takes a year, and then you have to find the manufacturer and the investor, and so it's going to force us to change the way we think about not only buying products but how they're made. One of our colleagues broke his stroller, and it would have cost him something like $250 to get that part in the mail from the stroller company, and he literally just 3D printed a stroller part and got it for $20. You have this explosive technology where everything is made just for you but at the price and quality of something you buy in a
3D printing is going to have a profound impact on all of us, whether you consider yourself a designer or not. In the future, there are going to be 3D printers that will allow you to actually create three-dimensional structures out of living cells. And they can build very complex structures like blood vessels or skin tissue. And the idea there is that in 10 or 20 years, these scientists are going to be able to 3D print tissue that can replace damaged vessels of the heart, or they're going to be able to print replacement organs. So you won't have to go to find an organ donor anymore. You'll just be able to have one 3D printed at the hospital based on your own cell and your own genetic makeup. Right now at MIT, scientists are working on 3D printers that would actually allow you to print food. And who wouldn't want that in their house, right? If you could just ask Siri to cook you a steak. I mean, it's really going to be an exciting time in the home. In Japan, there's a company that's taking sonogram data. So they scan a pregnant woman's belly, and they're able to actually 3D print a figure of her torso. So instead of just having a fuzzy little black and white picture, you're getting a real model of what your child is going to look like. People are using 3D printers to do all sorts of interesting things in terms of the environment. Researchers are using 3D printers that can print concrete to make replacements for parts of the Great Barrier Reef that have been damaged. Normally, those reefs take thousands of years to build, but what these scientists do is they find the areas that are damaged, they make CAD replicas of those damaged areas, and they print them in concrete. So it's a base structure upon which coral can create a top layer, and that helps reinvigorate the environment and helps return normality to that area. I mean, one of the coolest things about 3D printing is that it's a community that never stops innovating. There are hundreds of innovators who are making little tweaks to these products, who are trying out different things, and so it really gives everybody an opportunity to create anything they could imagine.